The Martian is perhaps the single movie that can coherently display comedic stupidity and space travel at the same time. It is such an amalgamation of Dumb and Dumber that when I was assigned a project discussing the scientific connections this had to high school curriculum, I didn't know whether to use this movie to depict a duct tape commercial or the unhinged fever dream of a wannabe Iron Man. However, to pass my class, I must now regretfully inform you about the scientific parts of the Martian. Let's take a look. The movie starts out with Mark Watney, our main character, being stranded on Mars because his squad thought he died. Now it is to note that I have no issue with most of the movie, but some things in the latter parts could definitely be written better. Stranded with a bunch of freeze-dried Thanksgiving dinners and raw potatoes, Watney decides to pull a Soviet Union, plants potatoes in the most desolate place possible. His problem? He ain't got no water to water the plants that require water being watered upon them. Naturally, he decides to make explosives. He burns hydrazine, releasing hydrogen gas and reacts it with oxygen. I mean, honestly, here I have to give it to him. This is a valid chemical reaction you can do with hydrazine, which is just rocket fuel. And, burning hydrogen and oxygen really creates water. So, valid, honestly. This next one is pretty cool. To heat up the rover and conserve battery, the guy digs up some decaying plutonium, like any other normal human being would.
I'm a botanist.
Which is valid because the alpha particles released from the decay interacts with surrounding particles, heating it up. Radiation in this occasion doesn't really matter unless he breaks the machine, because alpha particles can be stopped by rather thin materials. So he uses this as like a heating device, like a hand warmer, I guess. Alright, moving on. Watney is now chilling with the potatoes, and NASA discovers his existence, and then tries to get a supply drop to him. And then the movie gets kind of boring, so the director blows up the Mars house, and then kills all the potatoes, followed by blowing up the supply drop. So now,
China
has to help, and this guy comes up with a plan.
Okay, let's pretend that this stapler is the Hermes, and you are... I'm sorry, what's your name again?
Teddy, I'm the director of NASA.
Cool, Teddy, you're Earth. Right now, the Hermes is headed towards you, starting its month-long deceleration intercept. But instead, what I'm proposing is... we start accelerating immediately. To preserve velocity and gain even more, we don't intercept with Earth at all, but we come close enough to get a gravity assist and adjust course. While we're doing that, we resupply with the probe, pick up whatever provisions we need, and now we're accelerating towards Mars. You're Mars. Now, we're going too fast at this point to fall into orbit, but we can do a flyby.
What good's a flyby if we can't get Watney off the surface?
Watney would intercept using the MAV.
And then we just head home. I've done the math. Checks out.
Rich,
Yes, sir.
get out.
What he's suggesting is called a gravity assist, which is basically the spaceship using Earth's gravity to boost its speed without using extra fuel. Kind of like grabbing onto a car when you're biking to speed up, and then along the way the plan is to pick up the supplies from
China
rocket. This is also valid, and has been used in actual spacecraft like the Voyager 2, which used 4 gravity assists to escape the solar system. This concept involves the kinetic energy transfer by aiming a spacecraft at a planet, gaining speed because of the planet's gravity, then missing the planet, hooking around, and then launching off. Anyways, the movie moves on, and now Watney has packed up all his supplies into a rover and road trip to another unused escape spaceship. And then the big spaceship arrives, and this is the part where the movie gets a little bit weird. To get the spaceship to space, Watney has to strip it down, which isn't preposterous. And he ends up going to space with half of a spaceship called the word tarp, which again could be very well possible due to Mars' thin atmosphere. However, he ends up missing, and to reach him, the big ship has to speed up and then slow down. And so now the crew are faced with the problem of slowing down, and they decide to make a bomb. Like, I couldn't even think of anything dumber than blowing a bomb up on a spaceship. The idea is to use the escaping area to slow down, and I guess it works. But a bomb just might be, like, too overkill, you know what I'm saying? Like, however, I guess the bomb is cool, though, and, like, the sugar-oxygen reaction is real. So I'll give the movie that. I mean, it's chemistry is chemistry, and bombs is bombs. Why would you blow up a bomb on a spaceship? Seriously, holy. Alright, now this next part is the dumbest thing in the movie I could relate to physics. Watney, after going to space, pokes a hole in his spacesuit. To fly like Iron Man, ignoring the obvious problem of puncturing your spacesuit. I guess you could say that Newton's third law is at work, where the escaping air pushes him in the opposite direction. But the hole is in his hand, so according to physics, he should be spinning around, not flying straight and reasonably controlled. Overall, this scene is fun, I guess, but poking a hole in your spacesuit is definitely not realistic. And credit where credit's due. It's been generally realistic so far, I guess. So yeah, I guess that's the whole movie with some science stuff in it. This is to pass my class, so yeah, pass me, please.